Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's going on? All right. Eric Evans, my man, what's going on? Good morning, good morning. All right. So, gonna wait for everyone to kind of tune in here and we'll get right to it. And we'll take it from there. Wade Smith, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, my man. Where's everybody at today? Let's get everyone in here so we can get it started. Hope you guys are having a wonderful morning. Oscar, good morning, man. Sup, Ali? I'm going to be giving away my gains from Apple on the second dip I took. I mean, at least you're giving back the gains that you made, and it's not just completely red. Legit Mover Chicago, good morning. The Real Homeboy, good morning. Diana, good morning. Edgar, buenos dias. Good morning, Edgar. Skyzen, good morning, my man. Danielle, good morning. Good morning. Waiting for SPX to touch 50 DMA. Yeah, I got pretty close to it in the pre-market here. G5, good morning. All right, guys, as usual, we'll wait till 8:35. And we'll wait for everyone to kind of get in here, and then we'll get it started. Nancy, good morning. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Oh my God, it's the relaxing, calming sounds. Hi, and good morning. That YouTube name just completely kills me. Relaxing, calming sounds. Oh yeah, big shout out to Sky, who just recently had his birthday. Happy birthday, my man. Joshua, good morning. Derek, good morning. Brad, good morning. Full Cube Corp, good morning. Got a few more minutes here. We'll stick around 2 more minutes and then we'll get right to it. I know everybody's eager. Quinn, good morning, my man. We got about 20 people in here, which is good for a Thursday morning. So let's go ahead and smash that like button. Iffy, my man, good morning. Hope you guys are having a blessed morning. Oscar, jobless claims just came in. You are correct. Let's take a look at what the jobless claims are. So they came out slightly higher than expected. I mean that so much is not going to affect the market, whereas what's been said in the FOMC. I think that's what's really affecting the market, and not so much what the jobless claims is. Jobless claims 20,000, more than expected. So that's not going to make much of an impact on the market as a whole here. Everyone smash the like button. Yes, let's go ahead and smash the like button. Wilson, good morning, family. What's going on? All right, guys. So it's 8:35. I almost got carried away here. And without further ado, let's get right to it. All right. So I want to explain a few things. All right, guys. when the market's sideways or when the market's going up, there's always people fearing that, oh my God, we need to crash. We need to come down. We need to come down. We need to crash. We need to crash. When we have a red day, everybody and their mother starts freaking the hell out. Okay. First of all, guys, we know the swing market. We know swinging has been, slim pickings. Okay. The reason why we are not pedal to the metal, excuse me, why we are not pedal to the metal with swing trading is because the market isn't there. We know that things have shifted from January, February to where we are right now. All right. That's why we take very slim pickings and we swing very few stocks. Okay. With that said, obviously we broke that 20-day moving average yesterday, and that's fine, guys. It's totally okay. Look how many times we have done it before, right? And today in the pre-market, we've come down and we've essentially tested that 50-day moving average. Okay. We're already down about 1% from yesterday's close. All right. Overall, from even the day before, we're probably down about 1.5% and so forth. Okay. We need to keep an eye on levels. That's all we can really do. Okay. The reason, again, going back to the swing trading, the reason why we don't put on heavy amount of swings is in case things like this happen. Right. So if we have one swing going, well, we're just going to get stopped out of that one swing. And that's perfectly fine because we knew what our stop was going into the trade, and we're going to be okay even if it stops out. Okay. So the market's pulling back. Let's say we get stopped out of a swing trade. That's fine. We don't have 5, 10, 15 swings going. Okay. Now on the other side, we have our long-term accounts, right? For example, BABA is sitting at, what is it right now? Let me take a look. Give me 1 second. Baba's sitting at 166. You bet your bottom dollar I am adding to my long-term position on Baba, right? These are the times where you guys are going to want to add to your long-term positions. Baba at 166, to me, that's a steal. I got in at around 190. I added at around 94, or sorry, 2 something. I added around 194, and now I'm adding at 160. I will add to my long-term positions, and long-term positions are long-term positions, right? We don't look at them. We don't micromanage them. We put them in a separate account. We look back in about, 2 to 3 years. And that's when we decide, what are we going to do? Has this thing been stagnant for the last, 2 years? And do I need to cut it? Okay. So again, I just want to get that fear out of your heads, guys. Every time we go on this day, the whole world thought the world was going to end. On this day, everybody thought the world was going to end. On this day, everybody thought the world was going to end. And here we are again. Everybody is saying, oh my God, we're going to touch the 400s. We're going to touch this, that. Listen, trade the levels, understand what the levels are, understand the importance of the moving averages, and understand how, there's a lot of stocks in the market that are gapping down because of this, and they've done nothing wrong. Okay. The companies themselves have done nothing wrong. All right. So with that said, let's take a look at the closer time frames on the SPY. Let me put on my levels here. Perfect. So what are we looking at? So obviously that level that needs to hold is 433.94. Okay, we have a severe gap down right before close yesterday. We went from 440 down to 438, losing that level in the futures hours and the future trading, and coming down to that 433.93. 433.93, 433 happens to be exactly where the 50-day moving average on the daily is. Okay, again, I've told you guys many times, when we get big gap downs like this, don't go chasing the downside. Don't go buying puts right at the open and expect an even bigger flush, right? Unless we break key levels, unless the stock hasn't really moved from their close to their pre-market levels, then possibly you can look for a setup. But again, I advise against buying puts on such a big, massive pull down, right? What do we need to do today? We need to stay above that 433.93. If we do that, then that's perfect. We've held the 50-day moving average, and we can look back to track back towards that 437, 438, and even maybe 440, right? So first and foremost, we need to understand that importance of that 433, 433.90 level, right? We need to be able to hold above this in order to track back and have a decent bounce day, all right? Now, again, just like anything, we could bounce up, come back down, crash, break below that 433. Then we got levels on the downside, right? 430.95, 428, and then 426. don't see it going any further than that. You got to understand where we were and where it's going to go to. And I don't think that we're really going to push all the way down there very quickly or very fast, right? So understand that, know where we were and where we are and how much of a gap down that actually is overall before you go chasing lows. All right, now let's go look at the Qs. Gonna pull up the daily chart on the Qs. So what do we got here? Similar story in a sense, right? We lost that 50-day moving average in a pretty decently sized candle. Coming back down, the 50-day moving average is sitting at 358.10. All right, now let's take a look at the closer time frame. 358.23, 358.10 is where? Is right along that side where the 50-day moving average is, right? So again, similar story, right? We have that big sell-off near the end of the day coming into the 50-day moving average, and that's the level we're going to need to maintain going into the open, going into today. If we can hold above this, obviously we'll retest these levels at 361, 362, and ultimately that 364 if we can clear this 362 level. However, lose that and we're looking to come down towards the 356, 355, ultimately the 353. Okay, it's all based on levels. And again, going back to the way the market conditions are, we don't put on so many swings solely because of these reasons, right? We're not in a conditioned market where we can continuously take on swing trades and have 7-6 swing trades going at once, and then if things pull, we're in trouble with 6 to 7 swing trades all going red on us, right? So we took the foot off the pedal. We focused more on shorter term intraday trades to get us through this last few months, and when things turn around, then we step back on the gas pedal and we go full force when we have better setups and better sectors and better moving stocks with better range, so we can take opportunities and take profits a lot quicker. Okay, guys. So again, that's where we're standing as far as the Qs go, as far as the SPY goes. So understand the levels, get that panic and that fear out of your head, because once you guys become too biased to one way or the other, eventually you will get burnt. So take the bias out your head, understand what the levels are, and solely rely on those levels in order to make decisions for yourself, okay? The stock market is a bunch of if statements, so you got to ask yourself, if this, then that, right? So if this happens, then this is going to happen, or if this happens, then this is going to happen, and that's all it is, right? So stick to that if statement, stick to your levels, and don't panic. There's no reason for you to panic. Your long terms are your long terms, your short terms are your short terms, and they're going to get stopped out if they're going to get stopped out. You have stop losses, you understand where your stop losses are, and if they're going to get stopped out, then so be it. You knew the risk going into the trade, you take the stop loss, you move on, we wait for a setup, we take the next trade. All right, so with that said, if you guys do have any questions, go ahead and shoot it to me. I'm gonna take a couple of your questions going into that 9 a.m. mark, and then after that, I gotta get back into the room and get ready for this day, which I hope is gonna be a good one. I'm excited. Big gap down creates volatility. Volatility creates opportunity. So we should have a great day today, and I'm excited for it. So go ahead and throw your messages or any questions that you have at me, and I'll take a look at a few of your tickers and so forth. And if you guys are still here, make sure you guys go ahead and smash that like button so YouTube can do its thing. Also, Wilson, good morning. Sukhra, good morning. I missed you guys there. All right, so a few people asking about NVDA. Obviously, Nvidia had earnings, and it's looking like it's holding up in the pre-market, right? Despite what the market's doing, Nvidia looks like it's actually holding up fairly well, despite the market kind of gapping down as low as it did, right? So what are we looking at here? We got to kind of look at the daily. It's sitting at around 193, so around 193, just barely under that 50-day moving average. So really need this to kind of clear the last few days' high. So if we're looking at this here, we really need to clear that 197 area or even that 196.50 area in order to move higher on the intraday level. All right. If we lose that 192 area, we can flush back down to the 186. But again, we need to see what the market's going to do at the open. And if we can clear that 196, 196.50, get over that 200-day moving average on the 15-minute, we can kind of push this thing a little bit higher here. Again, in the short term, daily's not really set up for much, other than it actually looks fairly bearish because of being under the 20 and the 50-day moving average. However, with that earnings and how well it's holding, we can pop back up and kind of see this thing get back above the 196.50 and kind of push up possibly towards that 200 area. All right. But as far as the swing trade goes, this really needs to clear that 207, 208 area for me to be interested in a swing trade on this one. That way we can take the breakout trade and kind of take this higher towards that 220 area. Okay. But in the meantime, only shorter term trades on this, no swing at the moment. Let's take a look at Walmart. So Walmart, pretty ugly candle yesterday. I'm actually looking to see if this will, what is it sitting at? Oh, it's sitting at 147.79. So ideally, this 148 level was a level I was looking at. If I lost that, I wanted to see this flush down towards that 147.50. But due to the gap down, it's already done that, right? So again, going back to the market, if this 147.50 holds, we'll probably try to gap fill that thing before continuing lower on the downside. In the short term, not much in it, not much swing trade in it either. However, if this was still sitting above the 148, it would have been a nice trade down to that 147.50 level. I would stay away from Walmart for now because it did come down to that 147. Maybe look for a setup once market opens to see if we can break down below that 147 again, possibly for a flush lower. But you would need the intraday levels to kind of set up to give you a pattern for a flush down. No swing trade on it, no medium hold. Shop. So Shop trying to hold that 50-day moving average again here. Market pulling it down to 1472. 1472. So not much. It hasn't pulled it down really that badly. But again, chart is getting a little choppy. It tried to break out, failed. Almost looks like it's putting in a head and shoulder pattern. Under that 1440 area can actually bring it down to the 1328. I would wait off on this if you're looking to swing trade this. For a day trade, still not ready, still too choppy. There's too much going on the daily level for you to take day trades on this one as well. Cat. Oops. Cat sitting at 206.50 in the pre-market. So broke back under that 200-day moving average. Big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6 days down. You have support down here at 204. You might try to find a dip buying opportunity here as it's coming into the support area, possibly for a quick day trade on the run up back towards maybe that 209, 210 area. But again, no setup on this one, not much to trade, and there's no pattern on the daily for a swing on this one as well. mRNA sitting at 388 here. So these Moderna, BNTX, all these names are actually holding up fairly well. Okay, they held up very well yesterday as well with the market sell-off. But what I'm looking for here is I really need this to kind of clear over that 407 area. I need this to clear over that 407 area. And then if it does, then we can kind of see it take a move on this back towards maybe 417 or even the 440 area. Okay, but until then, there's really no reason to kind of trade this. We need to get above that 407 area again. Otherwise, we can kind of chop around and just get choppy, and that's not something I want to trade. So wait for the 407 area, see if it can break above that. If it can, we can kind of push back above and maybe test the 417 and then 450 area. Otherwise, that 400 psychological number is going to be a big number to break. We need to get above to the 407 area. Don, good morning. You're late. PFE. All right. Big red candle yesterday. We got in some puts on this yesterday. Little bit early, but we know we were stepping in front of a freight train, so we had a pretty big percentage of a stop loss on that one. And If you held that long enough, you actually got paid over 180%. However, on the short-term side, all right, so we're losing that 48.55 on Pfizer. Okay, yesterday's daily candle was pretty nasty. Actually looking for further downside on this. We did come down to the 48.55 level, which is the prior kind of pivot break. Not much support there. If we do lose that, we couldn't come to the 47.54 area, right? So I got to monitor that. We are breaking this lower. And next level here could be the 47.50, and under that 46.35, but you got to understand that's a pretty big move for Pfizer. So maybe that 47.50 on the downside is what you can monitor, right? So as the market's kind of just holding up a little bit, Pfizer still showing weakness and coming down. So possibility down to that 47.50 possible. Nothing on the swing side, obviously. We're trying to pull back here and consolidate for a setup before you guys can swing this. Let's go over coin. You guys are smashing me with these tickers today. All right, coin. Guys, it'd be ideal if you kind of tell me what you want to do with them, because I'm just guessing whether you want to day trade them, swing trade them, buy puts, buy longs. If you throw a ticker out there and just, tell me coin question mark, I don't know your thought process behind what you want to do. But anyways, coin, nice push with increasing volume here, coming back down into that 50-day moving average. That's support at 239. What you want to do is kind of wait for a setup here. The selling volume is decreasing, which is a good sign. We're sitting at around 240, which is right at that 50-day moving average. If you want to dip by this with this decreasing selling volume coming into that 50-day moving average, not a bad idea. Possibly you can try to dip by here and try to push this thing back up towards the 250 area for a decent day trade, or even a starter for a swing, and then possibly have stops at around 220, about a 20-point stop to make about 20 points on the upside. Can you review Etsy? That candle is not very appealing here. Etsy, again, sideways action, not much really going on. Needed this thing to break above that 196 area to push. However, it did that, but the market kind of pulled it back here. Okay, so again, for this thing anything to happen to this, need to get back above that 196.50, 196.60 area. And if we do, and if we close above that, then we kind of have room to go towards that 204, 205 area. Okay, so again, monitor it. Don't like what it's kind of doing here. We have this push up here. We flagged. We tried to break out yesterday and got stuffed due to the market conditions. So we need market conditions to kind of help with this. If we get back above the 196.50 area and close above it, possibility to run towards that 206 is likely. However, you got to get above that 196.43, 196.50. Nvidia got an upgrade. So we talked about Nvidia got an upgrade 175 to 225 by Credit Suisse. Nice. Yeah, again, that's going to rely on market conditions today to see what it does. It's holding up very well in the pre-market. Hood further downside. Hood had ER, I believe, and it's under that 20-day moving average. So you got to understand, again, a lot of people chase this up here, and now they're getting just smashed, right? So under that 45 level, it's going to create some selling pressure. Needs to really get back above that 47 to kind of maintain its level. But if it can't and it rejects that 46, it'll probably continue selling off here and then try to find a base. Nothing really there for me. Not really interested in this at the moment. It had a nice breakout yesterday, but then the people were kind of buying it into the earnings, and then the earnings kind of disappointed. So it's not doing too well. We need to get back above that 46.20, get back above that 46.50 level in order for this thing to kind of track back higher. UPST. So it's sitting at around 209 in the pre-market. So here's a story with UPST. Nice push up. We managed to kind of catch it a few days on the upside here, but we came into that 218 top side pivot, and it kind of saw some rejection. Okay, now we're starting to kind of move up with decreasing volume. We're starting to show some topping wicks. Not a fan of chasing this on the upside, possibly looking for, breaks of the 204, 203 area for more downside on this. Ideally back to that 182 would be the only thing I'm kind of looking for. Unless this thing decides to show strength and break above the 220, then we can kind of possibly look for a quicker day trade. Again, nothing on the long term on this, nothing on the midterm swings on this. It's got to be day trades, shorts under 203.75s, and then if we can get momentum, look for a day trade on the upside as well. But again, only short-term trades. Thoughts on, let's see, is Uber a good price for long term? Is Uber a good price for long term? I mean, is the price good for long term? The price is good for long term. It really depends on, have you done your research on the company? Do you understand that, what they're doing and what their outlook is, what their finances are, what their future growth is, what their balance sheet is? All this needs to be established. All this needs to be looked at in order for you to decide whether it's a good price for long term. It's down. Yes, it's sitting right around $40, but do you find value at $40 after you look at the financials? You got to ask yourself that question. Coin, we did Walmart for a day trade. Yeah, like I said, Walmart, I wanted it down under the 148.80 level. It broke that, already sitting at the 147.50. Really needs to get back under that 147.50 to kind of see it push towards the 146.25. But because that beautiful pattern here, that flag break to the downside has already taken place, I probably won't mess with Walmart for a day trade side. Do you have any opinion about Chinese regulator crackdown? Will they change or keep up with the aggressive approach? They will probably keep up with the aggressive approach. I'm sorry, you the man. Smash the like button. UPSD for day trade. I think we talked about UPSD just now. Thank you, PLTR for day trade. So PLTR sitting at 24.93, holding up fairly well. Need to get this thing back above 26.70 in order for me to consider this for a day trade. If we do that, then we can kind of see how it pans out. Let's see, we hit 25.94 yesterday. Yeah, I need this back above that 25.75, 26 area in order to kind of track this back higher. If we can get above 26, we can very easily come back up towards this 27 area, right? It has a range, it has volume coming into it on the daily. Nice pullback on lighter volume. And this day here kind of broke it out. However, market again pulled it back, but it held very well. Okay, so if we can get back above 26, we could very easily kind of track back up towards this 27.50 area. So monitor that. Keep an eye on the 26 level for a move higher. Do you see pins going back to 150 anytime? Do you see Apple going back to 150 anytime soon? I mean, the market's pulling. So as long as the market pulls, Apple's not going to go to 150. So you have your stops. If you're trading this, have your stops. Make sure you understand what the stops are, and so be it. You can't average down and hopes for it to continue going higher. You took an entry. You have stops. You let the stop work. Obviously, not a pretty day for Apple yesterday, but given the way the market pulled, there's nothing you can do, right? The market kind of pulled on this, and it's pulling it back down. You have stops. Let the stops work, and don't try to micromanage your position. Stops, targets. That's all we can really do. Pins breaking support of 54. Let's take a look at pins. So pins right there at 54. Broke that, coming down to 53. Let's take a look. Go further back. So a little bit of a trouble here. Okay, so it could very easily fall towards that 48 level. Okay, so good eye, monitor this. It's currently sitting at around $53, $53.20. If it does want to sell off here, it can very easily in the next few days come down towards that 48.55. What you're going to want to look for here is if the market decides to push at the open, you're going to want to keep an eye on how strong this kind of reclaims back to that 54. If it doesn't, continues to stay under the 54 level, it's a pretty good sign that this thing will decide to continue to sell off in the days to come towards that 48.55 level. Big level here, losing that big level can come towards that 48.55. All right, guys. So thank you guys all for tuning in. I got to get back to the room. Appreciate you guys. Remember, every Thursday we do go live on YouTube at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. Go over market analysis and ask any questions that you guys may have. And if you guys are still here, make sure you go ahead and smash the like button, and I'll catch every single one of you guys next week right here on YouTube. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day, and make sure you respect your stops.